All right, fan is so there shouldn't be like previous video, maybe the previous one, maybe just the last one. But I was showing this earlier today, but then I stopped recording because the fan got here, so I replaced it. And yeah, here we were discussing about this upward trend here. We had this second entry, but we didn't want to take it. 7 a.m. is right here, it comes in right there. I'm usually never here, so we wouldn't be able to see the trade anyway. But this is not one we would take anyway, because we talked about this upward trend here, and people were going to be selling here at this point, especially with a strong move like that, and here as well, just because of these highs right here. So a ton of people are going to be selling here off floor high, just picking tops here, assuming that we're going to come off a little bit. These highs right here and probably come down, but so it pushes up a little bit more before even starting. So it does act like it. A 4 ticker actually probably would have worked. Let's see. Yeah, a 4 ticker would have worked here. But I would have took an obvious, and doing an obvious here. I mean, yeah, I guess you could have took this as a 4 ticker, because a ton of people are going to be selling and some people are going to be buying because they don't see that and they just see this crazy uptrend. So people would have been buying here. Point we're oh, I didn't even mention what they were trading. We're trading November 20th. Right now it's 7:37 a.m. We're 8 times the speed. 8x it. And yeah, let's go and see what kind of trades we got. It looks a little volatile, but we're gonna stick with what we got, the normal 6-point scalp. Unless we have bars that are, this looks like the only bar that's a 6-pointer. If we have a ton of 6-point bars, but it's okay for it to be in the pre-market. But if it's after 7 a.m. and we still get 6-point bars and you still don't have any trade, then maybe it's time to switch. But I think we're okay here. Oops, I accidentally opened the program. So for people who are like using a strategy of finding the support and resistance and looking at previous days like that, they're going to be selling here, especially with a trend like that. So buying here is probably a better option. Yeah, so everybody's assuming we're probably coming back over here, so that's why buying here is probably actually a good idea. We want, once again, we're going off what the 10, we're trying to think of what 90% of people are doing, and a lot of time that's with the trend. A lot of time it's market chasers. A lot of the time it's people who are taking good trades, but we're just scalping off of their orders, if that's what this is. So sometimes, yeah. So yeah, forgot the point I was making, but yeah. but yeah. So we do want to be buying here, right? Especially since we just got the break of this trend, and we're suspecting a new high according to max strategy, and that's something we still like to follow according to price action. All of his stuff really does work, but this is just something we like to do. It's a little bit different. It's something I just like doing. I just feel like this is much more comfortable for me, and I'm 100% sure he'd be okay with that. But here we have swing low first entry, second entry. We're gonna go for so now the prices are, if it closed right here, then we would have done 1 ticker, but now it looks like everybody's gonna start buying here, and actually selling here is probably the better option now. Yep. So we're gonna stay out of this trade. The reason why I would say selling is a better option is because we have this strong trend up and barely a correction. So maybe some people are convinced that this market's moving in the opposite direction now, but I think a ton of people are subconsciously or consciously know that there's stops here, and so people like to trade those breakouts. Once it breaks out there, the market sometimes tends to just shoot out, and people like to trade those. But what happens a lot of the time, it'll just break out and then pull back in. And people like to still sell in after that break back in. So yeah, here's a second entry short. Probably actually going short is the best option here. So we're not going to look for any longs here. So yeah, being able to decipher when to go long or when we see a setup, deciding whether we want to be, or not even looking for a setup, but deciding whether we want to be buying, selling, and where the current market is. So after this is the current, what just happened, or actually this is the current market. Do we want to be selling at this point right now or buying at this point right now? And just thinking about and if it's buying, then we wait for a setup based on how it looks still, so yeah, first decipher whether you want to be buying or selling, then go ahead and wait for your setup. And if the setup still looks good to the point where it still looks like everybody's buying, then you should be selling. It looks like people are trying to be smart if it does like a little correction going down, but people are going to be buying because they think they're trying to outsmart the smart traders. That's where we take advantage and be selling there. Would be selling there. I hope that made sense. I think I got it back. Yeah. All right, let me just try to make that a little bit clearer. So we're here to decipher when to buy and when to sell according to the market. If 90%, if the market looks like so I've reached a point, and you should be able to reach this point pretty quickly, which is being able to decipher where the market is going in the most obvious situation. So if we came off the highs here, the most obvious situation would be to come back over here, and that's where everybody's going to be selling, probably 90% of people. And when you get a small correction that does something like this, this is not the greatest example, but if we were on a downtrend, right, right here, and it did something like this, or let's say we've been on this downtrend, right, and it does a two-legged move like this, people are going to be selling right there at that point because they know, or they're suspecting we're coming over here, and they're, of course, they're right, like the support and resistance. But that's what's the tricky thing is, because even though they're right, everybody's gonna go in at the same spot, so we're gonna be buying right there. So even though they could be right, but we're just using their orders and trying to get the scalp of where so 90% of people would be going short right there, right? I just drew a trend line on something I drew. But yeah, so we go off of what 90% of people are doing, and in this type of situation that I drew here, they would be selling because of this strong downtrend. Yeah, and so yeah, that's so cool. I didn't know I could do that. But yeah, and they would look for that opportunity. Finally, it's my opportunity to sell, and that's where you would buy, because 90% of people are going to want to chase that trend as well. So yeah, let's go ahead and I think this might just keep shooting down. It might come to the MA and then push back up. We'll see. Yeah, so a ton of people are going to be going short here, because a thing that happens a lot, people like to trade breakouts or spikes. I'm sorry, people like to trade spikes, and this is kind of a spike. This is a good spike, but so people like to trade those spikes, and like if this spiked here, people would like to sell here, because sometimes that does actually happen where the market does this and it corrects. But since everybody's doing that, the more often thing that happens, it'll do this, then people start selling, that pushes the market, then it'll go down like that. This could be a double top, so people are going to start selling here, which might push the market back up, kind of like a repeat pattern right here actually. And then it'll probably push down, and then I think, if depending on what it does, if it convinces everybody enough that the market's going in the other direction, that's going to keep on going this way, it's going to shoot on up. But if it starts to consolidate, people are suspecting maybe, hey, it might be trying to go higher, and people are not going to be shorting this thing and trying to really just trade the breakout. So really just thinking those things is what's going to really help you, what is helping us decide whether or not to take these trades, because this strategy works really well. If you just stuck to the strategy, like here, just took every single second entry, you probably get it, like, honestly, realistically, like 70% of the time, maybe like 50, but we just want to minimize those risks. Some days you'll get 100% of the time just trading it, but sometimes you get 0% of the time just trading them. So you really have to decide learning the market is probably the best thing you can do, I feel like, as a trader. Looking at somebody like Steven Dux, I try to figure out what's so different about him, and it's his understanding of psychology. And um, I think that's something, if you could figure that out, you you'll do fine in any market. It seems like with almost any pattern, if you could understand human nature, I think that's the best thing you could do. So yeah, we probably could have took that one actually on a 4 ticker. Could have done it on a 4 ticker. Maybe you would have got filled. Let's see how it looked on the ES. ES is showing, no, you would have not gone filled on a 4 ticker on the ES. If you it came to the tick right here, so you would be at 75 and a quarter, and it comes to there, pushes up. Yeah, but I was a little unsure. So, and with the setup like that, just stay out of that. So let's go ahead and just try to read what's going on right now. So if we go ahead and disregard what is going on yesterday, because not a lot of people, where the market behaves accordingly to the people who just look at the specific day. So they're not technically looking at the day before. Maybe there was, and that's why it's by. If people were looking at the day before, this would have shot on up because of the fact that this is super obvious to have that support, and to have the rejection like that is, everybody who sold here was like the 10%, because 10% of traders is the ones who make money, 90% lose money. So selling here was actually a good idea, obviously, because of the way it behaved right there. Unless 90% of people actually made there and only 10% went long, that's hard to believe because of that strong downtrend. So it's okay to believe that people are disregarding this and just looking at it like this. So everybody bought here, and that's the reason it comes the other direction. So they're not really looking at this resistance. I hope that makes sense. So knowing that, we can go ahead and proceed with, but if it does come up here, then people are going to start looking at that as resistance, because that's the high of the day. 12 minutes into the video. Thank you for watching. You, Nick B. Or if you're not me, because I usually watch my own stuff after work. So tomorrow morning I'm going to be watching this. This is the main reason I make these, so I can just have it fresh in my brain as much as possible. Because in the morning, it's like 7 a.m. when I'm trading, my brain is fried. I want to sleep. But maybe things are going to be a little bit different now, especially since I'm working and we'll start at 5 a.m. So we'll see. Hopefully I can get used to just waking up early and just be totally like my mind's clicking when it's time to trade, and clicking like this basically. So far, no setups, huh? I mean, yeah, that was a good setup actually, but we did not get filled on that as a 4 tick, unless you got super lucky, of course, like we said. Anyway, it's 8:25 with 40 seconds. Market's gonna open in about 4 minutes now. Speeding it up 6 times the speed. Consolidating here. Oh, I said that right? I said it would consolidate. I like being right. I like being able to predict them. Kind of cool. Okay, so when things consolidate, you really have to think about where are people's stops, and where are the people who went short and people went long, and what are they thinking when it breaks out one direction. Where are they going to get emotional, or going to... So I like to believe something that Steven Dux mentioned, like super briefly, that when this breaks out here, oh, it's 8:30. Okay, so we have a new swing high, and all these people who have the stops here are going to wait for a small pullback and then just exit, because this is coming for their stop, and everybody who went long right here are probably in here and pushed their stop right here. So they're exiting right now, and that might push the market back down. So they're taking their profits right now, just trying to get out of here, and everybody who sold right here is getting a little anxious, but they definitely exited as soon as it broke there, and started turning here. They exited, so this might push the market back up a little bit. So we might get a second entry set up, so let's quickly decide what we want to do. I'm going to try my best not to pause it on the playback on this guy. So let's go ahead and try to decide what we want to do in this, if we were to get a second entry here. I'm not going to pause the video either, or the recording, I mean. Let's just try to decide in real time. I'll try to say everything, what I'm thinking. So there's a little bit of a trend right there going on. I like to look at the market without the trend because it's a little bit easier. I like to use the ES. Looks like the market doesn't have a strong downtrend, so selling here is not the most obvious thing. It looks like the market's going down this way, so probably buying is the better option actually. My package was delivered. That was the fan. The market's gonna keep pushing down, so yeah, let's buy here. Oh wait, we don't trade that strategy. That's a good second entry though if you're going long. Actually, you know what? There's a lot of support here. We can sell this as a non-obvious. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. 50 entry would be at 50. I don't know if we're gonna get filled here, but as you can see that support right there, and people like to trade off of those things, those supports. People could push up and just instantly push down. The only thing we have to think about is everybody who's going short here. This is very sideways still, so there probably still a good amount of people who think they're really being really smart, and they could be really smart because I could be the one that's wrong, but they are convinced that the market hasn't reversed yet, so they're going to be going long here, even though they're assuming that prices has fooled everybody that the market's going in this way, so that's going to make them think that going long here is the best bet. Yeah, we have an order in a non-obvious spot. Yeah, so we're going for non-obvious just because it's not with the trend, especially since there is no like trend really. It's a range, usually in ranges for non-obvious. Almost 17 minutes into this, about to get filled. Just got filled on the order, and let's go ahead and see what happens. I'm gonna pause the video just so we don't sit here waiting for nothing. So we're just gonna leave our stops where they. Oh, we got the scalp. Nice, but that was a little bit too lucky. I didn't like that. I'm gonna move my stop back out. I wanted to cross because it just came to the tick. It looked like I wanted to push down a little bit further. I can't see where my. Yeah, okay, there. That was good for me. All right, nice. We got the scalp as well as the runner. That was a fantastic read. A non-obvious second entry. So let's go ahead and discuss or go over why going short there was the better option and why we took that trade as a non-obvious. So obviously non-obvious, obvious, that was an easy way to decide which one we were taking because obviously it's not an obvious one, so we took it as the 4 ticker and we got filled to the tick. I just noticed, wow, that was lucky. So the thing I noticed about the playbacks is that they don't get filled right away. It seems like they actually put your order in where you would have been placed, and because a lot of the times, and even during playbacks, it'll come and bounce off, and then maybe on the third time it touches. I've seen that happen. Like it will come down, touch. Finally, it touches again and pushes up, but then it fills your order anyway. So I think it really does put your order in the right place. So if you got lucky enough to take that, you would got the scalp. We took a non-obvious. If we didn't get filled there, I would have been totally fine with that because at least we were right about where the market was going. So let's go ahead and discuss why we took selling here is a better option. So we've been on this uptrend, right? You get these legs up, and once again, those traders who've been watching tons of YouTube videos know that when you get a strong trend, you want to go and buy with that trend. So here it looks like the market's starting to reverse here, and they're trying to outsmart everybody who's convinced that the market's gonna keep going down. But little do they know, everybody's thinking the same thing. So when you come back to that support line, people are trying to buy the buyout. This doesn't really look like a downtrend. If it looked more like a downtrend, then those people would have been selling. But since it's been a lot more sideways and you have that support there is really key. And why we sold there, because a lot of people like to buy off of that. If we didn't have that support there, if maybe pushed down, it would have been a little bit different story. I would have to see it to decide exactly what we would do. But in any case, that's the reason we sold there, especially with those legs there, and then the push up right here, the correction, and then the consolidation, and then once again where people had their stops here, it started to pull down. People wanted to chase the market, and at that point right here, it doesn't really look like a downtrend. It looks like it's going sideways, and it looks like it's getting ready to stop everybody out right here. So when you get a nice second entry like that, you best believe everybody's going to take it, as well as that support down there. Good trade. Good trade. Good trade. I'm talking a lot. Wow, 20 minutes in. We had this right here, second entry. It could have worked as non-obvious, but never got triggered before pushing up here. It looks like it's gonna stop here. Alright, there was a second entry here. I stepped out for a bit and I left it running on accident. I was spending time with Nate and Stella. But anyway, we had this trend up here. Second entry right here. I'm trying to decide whether or not to take it before. I kind of saw it, but I just want to see if I can discuss what's going on here at least. So we came off the lows. Prices start pushing higher. I measured it back right here. Oh, you can probably see what happens right here anyway. But we come off the lows. I'm trying to decide whether or not we would take this. I would say the market would push up a little bit. It's tough to say because you have this strong trend up here, but you also have this level of resistance that's right up here that people are going to be selling there, just because maybe we are bouncing off there, or maybe if they don't actually see that and just start to see this price move up here, that they might start. You know what? Yeah, I could see everybody buying right here at that level of support. So taking this on a non-obvious would probably be okay, but let's decide whether or not we want to buy or sell. So prices look like they're reversing, so I would not sell. I would stay out of this. Buy or sell. Okay, so since we came off the highs here and we had a strong bar like that, people are suspecting that this is finally going to be able to push on down. That everybody who has their stop here are finally can take a breather and start making the profits here, because this journey has just been too much for them, you know. So buying here is probably a better option. It's really tough to say actually. I'm trying to decide right now. I don't even care whether or not we get it on here. This one's a bad trade because that's where prices close and it comes to a retest, but here it doesn't. I think due to the fact that it can't make a new low, that it just can't push on lower, I think people are going to start buying here, that prices could push up. So I would take a non-obvious 4 ticker here just because it came short of here, and it yeah, I would take a non-obvious. So right here we would have our non-obvious, and of course we never get filled. So unless you saw this and said, hey, that's an obvious uptrend, but no, it's very sideways, so it never happens. That was almost a waste of time. But at least we read it while our brain is fried. Yeah, it's 8:58 in the market, going on 1 times speed. I'm gonna pause it, and yeah. All right, we got a setup here. Second entry short. I like this one. If it keeps pushing up, we might have to do a 4 ticker, or may even just not take it. But I like the fact that it's a ton of people are going short here, basically, because after that, if it starts to push on higher, it's gonna look like prices are reversing here, and we don't want that. So we want it to stay low with a nice small leg, actually. As contradicting as that sound, as 2 measured legs, that you want equal size legs, but I think if we're able to understand the market here, this will be a good trade if we ever get triggered on it. So I sped it up, and looks like the signal bar is right there. So hopefully we can get ticked in here. It's just, oh, come on, come back, come back, come back. Don't keep going. So it looks like, so all we would actually need is for the market to reach right here. Just cross 75, and that would be an easy scalp. Yep, and so that would have been an easy one, but I sped it up. So yeah, that works out really nice. It's also actually no new swing high on this guy. But yeah, great trade there. So it looks like it never triggers on this guy, on the ES. So yeah, I think we can still take this trade, even though it should have worked. That's a strong bar though. Might have to do an unobvious forward ticker. Let's take a look at this again. Let's delete these channels. So prices do look like they're reversing, so that's gonna convince a lot of people to buy, and so we don't want to join in with them. So we're just gonna stay. Let's stay. We also have this strong downtrend here. A ton of people are gonna be selling. Let's do a non-obvious. Entry will be at 25. Oh, what is going on? 25. What is no? Ah, yeah. There we go. The reason we took it is because it never triggered on the ES. Let's see what happens. Obviously on the MES that would have been the better trade right there. And in real time I wouldn't take another trade after getting that trade. I probably would even go for this one after executed already on the MES. But let's see what happens here. It'll be interesting to learn from. So we're buying here because the market still looks like it's going down, and it pushed on high enough for people to believe that the market was going up. That's why we went for an unobvious. Yes. Let's see what happens. Let's speed it up. And we got the scalp as well as the runner. That's 2 for 2. Good read. So once again, let's go over that trade. Markets are working down. We got a strong trend down. Then we get a spike here, but it's not a strong enough trend. It's people are still going to be going short because it doesn't look like it's on the uptrend just yet. So everybody's going short, suspecting we're going to come back to the other side, which is down here. We already marked it. And so the fact that we got a nice good setup and it pulled back and it looked like prices were going to keep pushing down, and wow, it still doesn't trigger on the ES even though we triggered twice on the MES, but we're gonna stick with that. Honestly, if the ES, if we were trading the ES, I'd probably stay out of that just because of that congestion in there. There's a lot of undecisiveness. People starting to buy now because now it looks like prices are reversing there, as you can see that obvious trend. And look, the market shoots down just because everybody's trying to pick the bottom here and trying to go long, and it's gonna spike down. And now everybody's gonna start selling here, so that might push the market up. Big spike down. People are scared to miss that trade and just want to hop on the next leg that looks like this. Yeah, so we got the best trade that you can possibly ask for, which is it gets you by the tick, right? Then it gets your scalp like that. Those are beautiful trades. And so look what's gonna happen here. Everybody's suspecting another leg to look just like this. So everybody's gonna try to get in this trend here. It might do like a two-legged pull and then do another leg like that, or you might get congestion and the leg might happen over here. But everybody's suspecting that, like, so might get a little bit congested here. Consolidate stuff. 28 minutes into the video, and it is 9:12 a.m. on the day we are trading. So we're getting a big pullback here, big correction. People are still looking for a good entry to go short because that's the safest route right now. People are suspecting prices to come over here, so everybody's playing the safe route, looking for a short. Going long here is probably what the 10% would be doing. So yes. All right. Here I just noticed. Oh my goodness, what is going on? Oh gosh. So we had a two-legged move here. Swing low, first entry, second entry. However, that's like it's still inside the trend, and if you would have took this, let's see what happens. So this is more like a double bottom here. This is so the fact that these are probably the biggest moves in the whole market besides this guy, and that's like a two-legged move. But these are pretty big moves. You gotta really be think about what's going on here. We come back and retest this right here. Looks like it. That's a clear test. Come back and test it. So since the market is starting to look like it's going in the other direction, people are going to be selling this no matter like what happens right here. So at this point right here, people are still trying to sell this thing, trying to get or sold right here at least, and then everybody got stopped out right there, which is why the market pushed on so high up right there. So figuring out whether to buy or sell right here is something you would have to figure out in real time. Buying here would be silly actually, simply due to the fact that you got the biggest moves in the entire day going up like this. So when people see these huge moves, they're having FOMO, fear of missing out, and they're trying to get into the trade somewhere. So when it does that pullback, people are gonna start entering the trade and like, oh, all right, now it's the opportunity. Now we're finally going to be able to push higher. People are going to start going long here because people have been waiting to go long the entire thing, but they've just noticed the market just keeps going down. They're worried about shorting it, and maybe their whole mentality was like this whole uptrend in the beginning of the day, they were still on that like this market's going to keep going up, let's trade the breakout. So especially after those two huge moves, people are convinced that this market's going to keep going up. And so everybody buys, and that pushes the market straight down like that. Now we got this new swing high, first entry, second entry. So now we got to decide whether we want to be buying or selling here, and that can indicate what we want to do. All right, it's 10:11 tonight. I'm going to try to finish this day so I can watch it tomorrow. So speed run, second entry low. I think since the market has been on a downtrend, people are gonna keep selling here. So actually buying here would be the better option. So I'm not gonna be taking a position here, not even in a non-obvious. Buying here is actually the better idea, just because it's been a strong downtrend. It has convinced enough people that this is a downtrend. So, and people are gonna start selling. No one's trying to buy this right now. It doesn't seem like it. It looks like this intermediate traders, not intermediate, the traders who can read a market, people who are reading the market wrong. I don't know what I'm saying, but a specific group has been convinced that the market, that going short here is probably not the best idea, or going short here is the best idea because of this downtrend here. But because of that, it's gonna go ahead and start going down here, and buying is what you want to be doing, because now everybody thinks the market's going to keep going down and continue on down this way. So everybody's going to start selling again, and so you would actually want to be buying here. Let's go ahead and forward this. We're on 10x now. 20. Our order would have got filled. You're going long on a one ticker. Doesn't look like the one ticker works out, and there's pushes on up. You would have got filled on the 4 ticker, and I don't think you're gonna get filled on that order. Yep, and it comes out. Pretty sure it stops you out too. So nice, good read, fantastic read. It convinced everybody that the market was gonna keep on going down, and that's what reversed the market. Specifically because of what was going on before here, this is very convincing that the market's coming back to the other side. So when it does this two-legged pullback, and it makes everybody who thinks they know what they're doing, yes, I'm being bold on that statement, because there's really no best other way to describe it. I really don't want to say it like that. It feels terrible saying it like that, because that's actual people's money, and like people are losing money, and I hate that. Like, anyway, getting too emotional about this, but basically it's convinced a lot of people that this market is going to keep going down, and it made them think that they're fooling the people who are going long, so they're going to go short. So they're saying, oh look, the market looks like it's reversing here, let's go short because of this trend right here. Everybody's thinking the same way, unfortunately, and that's what pushes the market up. So, and they're like, wait a minute, I thought the market was gonna keep going down. I'm sticking with the trend. Why did I get stopped out? Everybody's gonna be going short there, simply because of those moves, and like the little like pullback, like, oh look, we're going the other direction, and they're like, ha ha ha, we're fooling them, let's short now because of this trend. And all of them are thinking the same way, basically. You're not going for the super obvious, you're going for like niche people who are like really putting their money in the market, who are really that like specific group, not necessarily obvious, because here obvious would be to buy if you're just like blindly going at it, so they think they're fooling those people, and we're trying to not necessarily fool the intermediate group, but more of capitalize on their trades. So they would be going long here, going short here because of this trend, and everybody starts going short, and that's what pushes the market up right there, at least that much. And now it looks like it's convinced everybody is going to keep pushing up, so selling here is probably the better option. Let's go ahead and look for the next trade. And I really don't want to get confused that we just go against what the market is doing. Oh, we had a second entry here, I didn't even notice. Let's see what would have happened. So like we had said, oh man, I wish I would have took this, and probably, okay, see if we were like this, right? Man, why'd I fast forward so fast? Okay, so we got a swing high. Now people are going to be going long here because it looks like prices are pushing on higher. I don't know if it's necessarily a super obvious one because of this spike and then this spike right here. So it could be end up pushing down. So maybe we would have took a non-obvious 4 ticker, but let's see what happens if we took 1 ticker on this. I would do a 4 ticker actually, just because of the fact that it's been on a downtrend and people are going to keep on selling this thing, trying to get back to the other side. So a 4 ticker might have done well. I think it actually works, but let's see what happens if the 1 ticker. So your stop would be right here at 25. Let's see what the next bar looks like. And yeah, you would have got stopped out if you went for the 1 ticker. In the 4 ticker, your entry would be right here, and your stop would be right here at 25. And looks like if we still wanted to enter the trade, we could. But let's see. Let's decide what we're doing real quick. Buying here is not what we want to do. Selling here is what we want to do. Yeah, let's go ahead and sell. So our entry would be right here. So we would sell right here. If it comes in, fills our order, great. If not, then cool. Oh, nice. So let's go ahead and see what happens. Will we eat this? Eating mean like burn out or like get stopped out. Oh, gee, Boliva. Everybody's buying right now, dude. Yeah, I think we're okay. Famous last words. Yes. Okay, so something was running through my head, which was the fact that everybody was doing what I was doing right now, which is selling. And yeah, so exactly what we were feeling right here, what we said about people seeing that right here, people are still feeling the same right here, trying to sell back to the other side just because we're supposed to. So since everybody thinks we're supposed to, so that's something you got to get out of your vocabulary, kind of like, oh, we're supposed to be going this way. So it's okay to take into consideration that's what other people are thinking, but just don't put it in your vocabulary, if that makes sense. So people are thinking it's supposed to come over here, so people are going to be selling here. So buying would obviously work out here. So people are going to be selling this all the way to the very top because we're supposed to come back to the other side. So that was our fault, or just, yeah, I'm okay with that. That's a huge lesson right there. I don't know why I hit cut off myself there. Okay, let's fast forward this. 40 minutes in. Jeez. So we're not going for the supposed to. We're not using that as our trading strategy. Oh man, there's a trade here. Okay, so second entry on both charts, ES and MES. Let's go and see if we can still get filled. We got a swing high first entry, second entry. Everybody's gonna be selling here. I actually do think there's going to be a ton of people buying this because of the spike. So let's go for a non-obvious. I do like this. So you would have got filled on it already. So let's see if it comes back and fills our order. I think people are buying this. More people are buying this than selling, I do believe. Go and see if we're right. Because the reason why is because of those spikes like we mentioned before. People love to buy those spikes. But the only thing I'm really worried about is that there was too many market chasers here. And if that's the case, we're definitely getting stopped out. Ooh, came to the tick. If we were going for a 4-point scalp, we would have got it. Oh, the 4-point scalp would have worked there. That's unfortunate. Alright, so let's think about what happened there. Market spiked down, everybody was selling. That's just the gist of it. We just saw the trade, wanted to get in. That was a little bit emotional on my end. Yeah, I mean, don't sell those. But now we have a swing low first entry, second entry. Let's try to get this guy if we want to be buying here. Yeah, let's buy here on an obvious one ticker. The reason being is because everybody's suspecting another leg down and everybody's suspecting to come back over here. So I do believe buying here is the best bet. Let's go ahead and fast forward just so we can close this bar and just get our order in there. So I think everybody's going to be shorting here. Probably go for a non-obvious actually. Hold on, let's pause this. Ooh, it's like about to fill our order. Let's figure this out real quick. I 10x'd it, so it's sped up really fast. Might have to go for a non-obvious. Yeah, let's go for non-obvious just because of those huge moves there. No, let's go for an obvious. Let's go for an obvious just because everybody sees this second entry as well and are probably trading that, trying to get their scalp in. See, looks like the 4 ticker got, yep, you would have got in if you were doing the 4 ticker. End the trade. 20x. Oh boy. Oh. I still think we're right, so I'm gonna go ahead and enter the trade again. This is such a bad trading strat. But I do believe we're still going up. I don't think we're gonna keep pushing down, that's for sure. And if we do, man, we deserve to get stopped out here. Okay, cool. Oh wow, we didn't get the runner. Came to the tick. That's okay. So yeah, we should have went for the non-obvious. I thought I was just being smart because everybody was seeing it. But if we stick to the rules of if it's not a clear trend, like this is just a spike, it's not a trend. So going for the non-obvious 4 ticker is the better obvious, is the better choice, not the obvious. It's the non-obvious strategy. So 43 minutes in, 44 minutes in now. Non-obvious is the thing we should have done there. Yes, reason. Spike down. It was a trend up, spike down. Non-obvious 4 ticker because especially with these big moves here, yeah, it should have been a non-obvious 4 ticker there. So that's my bad. But let's see if we can just fix this -25 here. New swing low actually. We would have to take a non-obvious 4 ticker no matter what here. Do we want to be buying here? No, we do not. It's difficult to say what people are thinking. Why did I sound Irish for a second? It looks like there's a lot of support here, so people are going to be buying here. Yeah, which could drop the market. Going real sideways now. All right, there's a second entry here on both. Ooh, ho ho ho. ES has a different setup. Swing low, first entry, second entry. So we can't be taking in anything here, unfortunately. So 1 o'clock here. No. 101. Second entry. Slow down time. Okay, so this is super congested. Let's figure out what prices are doing to see if we want to be even taking a trade here. Let's pause it real quick. Just for a couple seconds, right? All right, let's decide quickly. Just to pretend we're in real time. Super congested, triple top here. I think a lot of people are going to be buying here. Yeah, I genuinely think enough people are going to be buying here. But we would have to go for non-obvious just because there's not an actual trend going on here. So let's go ahead and sell for non-obvious. Oh, 30x now. Same position. Man, this is getting real bad. So the market might not behave like the way we want it to because when it gets congested. When it's not congested, a lot of our trades work out a lot better because it's behaving normally. But when it does that little congestion, people's orders don't act the same way because we basically trade off of people's orders. And it doesn't behave the same way if so buying here is actually probably the better idea. Getting out of this trade. And it pushes up. Oh, can we get a second entry? I don't want to be buying here. I feel like at this point I'm just like going against the trend, which could be bad. Let's actually just try to figure out what people are thinking. I think everybody's selling this. Let's go ahead and buy this on a non-obvious 4 ticker. Everybody's just trying to get back to that other side, and which everybody just everyone's just trying to push the market in the other direction. That's a huge move. Looks like everybody's convinced to buy now. Let's go for a non-obvious 4 ticker though. The reason we're actually buying here is because it did a spike and people have noticed that the prices haven't gone that far in spikes, so people are going to sell here. It's a weird strat, but I think if we get triggered, it'll work out. Then again, we lost twice already. Got filled on the order. Got stopped out. Oh man. So yeah, everybody was buying because of those 2 big moves. I'm tired, man. It's 1:40 in this day now, so we're gonna go ahead and call it a day. Hopefully you watching this, you've learned something better. Yeah. All right. So it's gonna be it. I don't think there's gonna be another setup. Let's just fast forward at 151. Ooh. Unless there's a second entry at 158 now. First entry. Oh yeah, that's a setup. That's a setup. Congested setup. Nah, we're not taking that. All right. Good day.